Thanks for joining us. We're looking at these developing stories across the country. An update on the extreme cold. We do have some cold warnings in place. There's a snowfall forecast for some of you in the east and the west across the prairies. And Mark and Mike's journey continues. They were in Calgary earlier this week. Now they're traveling towards Manitoba. So we'll check in with them. This morning, temperature-wise, Calgary -9. You're going to jump up to around the freezing mark by the afternoon. Not too bad. Winnipeg -20 this morning. And look at that cold air towards Ottawa. -24. It's slushy, though, at times. For today, we won't be dealing with the snow, but you just might take a little time to start up your cars. We have extreme cold warnings in place from London to Stratford over towards Barrie and Peterborough. Toronto is not included, but there is a cold weather alert for the city, and really it is cold enough for people to be feeling the chill. With -25 out there this morning in Toronto, it's just below that warning criteria, but it is still the coldest day of the week for us. Ottawa's -24. The winds are fairly light, so you will notice that not every area does have a wind chill. We're going to see winds sustained at about 10 to 15 kilometers an hour at times. And all the deep purples, that means it is definitely cold, and that trend continues into the overnight. But we do start to see a warm up as the week goes on. Well, stay with us. Mike and Mark are going to join us in Manitoba with the cold weather they're following towards the east. Thanks for joining us. I'm meteorologist Nicole Karkic. What part of the country would you like to be in? This is the pattern this week. We've got the mild air funneling into BC and Alberta, some Pacific onshore flow here. Calgary will be around the freezing mark today. Could even get above the freezing mark to +1, but the cold air really entrenched in place, at least for today, into Ontario, Quebec, Atlantic Canada as well. Currently we're seeing some snow moving through the maritime provinces and Newfoundland as well, where a special weather statement is in place for St. John's, the Bonavista Peninsula too. By the end of the day we could be looking at 5 to 15 centimeters of snow. I know that's a big range, but it really depends on where you are on the island of Newfoundland. A little bit more as you head more inland away from the Avalon. As we look at this, a big nosedive in terms of your temperatures in Halifax, Dartmouth as well, and across New Brunswick, already in those purples. Purples are cold. That's -15 to -30. For Halifax by the afternoon, you will be -11, and then that cold air does sink into Newfoundland, across the western shores of Newfoundland first, and then it will head into St. John's. So it is going to be cold through the overnight and as we head into tomorrow morning as well. And already the cold air is in place towards the north. We've got Labrador City in an extreme cold warning for you to start the day, so feeling close to the -40s. Now this morning in St. John's, you're -3. We are seeing some snow. It does extend towards Gander as well at -8. And some sea effect will set up for the afternoon for the western shores of Newfoundland, as well as places like Cape Breton Island and maybe even PEI. This is an indication of some blowing snow for you this morning. Halifax is -7, and we do have some winds generally out of the north, sustained between 30 to 40 kilometers an hour. Anywhere you're seeing that blowing snow icon. But quite a bit of sun as we head even east to Montreal. Yes, it's cold, but -22. The sunshine will be with you with winds sustained at 10 kilometers an hour, so the winds aren't terribly strong, but it is going to be a chilly one. We do have extreme cold warnings in northern Quebec, where it does feel like -40 in Val-d'Or, but it doesn't include Montreal. However, yes, -30 to start the day. Quebec City, -33 for you. Yesterday morning, Montreal, you picked up 5 centimeters of snow. Today is a little more quiet, of course, with those roads perfectly clear. Let's head to Michelle Mackey right now, who was talking with hockey royalty yesterday.
-1, 0 degrees in parts of southern Ontario. Huge change this morning, and there are extreme cold warnings in effect around Timmins, feeling like in the -40s in the north. And in the south, from west of London across towards Kingston, the Kawartha Lakes, Barrie, Orillia, York, Durham, Peel region, Hamilton.
Yes. Cold warnings in place. So that means close to about -30. Ottawa -24. No wind chill in a couple of areas because the winds aren't terribly strong, but still, you don't need it to be strong to still feel like it's hitting you in the face when you step outside.
That's right. The wind's getting lighter through the course of the day, so that'll relax the wind chills a little bit, but the big deal is this morning. And it's the same deal in Quebec. We take a look at some temperatures this morning with wind chills. Look at Montreal feeling like -30 this morning. Quebec City, same deal. And up towards Val-d'Or, Valley of Gold, feeling like minus 40.
Yeah, not so golden. As we look towards the afternoon, it'll be minus 17 in Montreal and Val-d'Or minus 24. That's your improvement. Let's head to Mount Pearl.
Then we're going to show you some snow totals there in the Maritimes. Generally a 5 to 10 centimeter. Most of that's winding down. Watch for sea effect with the cold air coming in. And we do have some school closures, not in Metro St. John's, but for this morning, including Carbonear, Clarenville, a lot of schools in the Burin, Bonavista. So check ahead to make sure if your school is open or closed this morning.
And we do have more snow falling for you today. This afternoon, St. John's minus 6, feeling close to minus 15, but a lot colder here in the Maritime provinces, Chris.
Look at Charlottetown, feeling like minus 22 this afternoon. So in many cases, temperatures are actually going to get colder this afternoon than this morning. So how much longer is the cold going to last? St. John's, Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. As we get towards the weekend, it looks like conditions are improving.
Yeah, not too bad. Let's take you next to this. Oh, look at that. Smiling face in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be smiling in those temperatures.
No, that's it. The road adventures continue for Mike and Mark. And this morning, no wind chill warnings, although Winnipeg has been feeling into the minus 30s, so it is very cold out there. But we're going to see our temperatures rebounding close to seasonal.
Stay with us. We've got Mike and Mark coming up, and they're in Manitoba today. Few stories we're following here today. An update on the extreme cold. We still have some extreme cold warnings through parts of Quebec, extending into Ontario, Atlantic Canada as well. And the snowfall forecast for you. There's a special weather statement in place for Newfoundland at this point. And we're looking at our temperatures this morning. And Toronto's at minus 18. Quite a contrast compared to yesterday. Winnipeg's at minus 20. But we're going to start to feel the warm up in the afternoon from Saskatchewan over towards Alberta. And as for you in the east, you're going to feel the cool down as the day goes on. In fact, Halifax, your morning will be warmer than your afternoon. So you're going to reach that daytime high in the morning. Extreme cold warnings, London up towards Barrie, extending towards the Kawartha Lakes. Toronto not included. You're just below that warning criteria. But I'm sure Kelly Noseworthy can attest that you might as well be in that extreme cold warning at this point. Winds aren't too bad, but there's your breath. I mean, you're definitely bundled up, and I can feel that you're cold. That's right. Thanks so much, Kelly. So sunshine this afternoon. It's going to be quite beautiful out there. But once you step outside, it's going to feel cold. So just make sure you're prepared and bundled. This morning, Toronto feeling like minus 25, Ottawa, you're minus 24, Sault Ste. Marie feeling like minus 27, and Windsor, no snow for you today, but it feels like minus 21. So you don't always see the purples extended down to even Windsor, but that's the cold air. It's between the minus 15 to minus 30 temperatures without the wind chill, but those H's are going to help with the sunshine, and then by the afternoon, the cold air still in place, and then it's still cold into tomorrow morning, but not as cold as today. And then for the weekend, as we head closer to the weekend, we will be seeing temperatures rebounding quite nicely back to seasonal. Let's take you next to Quebec, where and send it to our website, theweathernetwork.com. Look at these extreme cold warnings. Septiel has included the Saguenay over towards Val-d'Or when it's an extreme cold warning for northern Quebec and extending over towards Labrador City. That's temperatures in the minus 40s, even close to minus 50s for Labrador City and Churchill Falls. This morning, Montreal's minus 30 with the wind chill, but notice Val-d'Or, that's that minus 40, the criteria for the extreme cold warning. This morning towards the Maritimes, it's a lot different than yesterday out there for you. We're seeing some snow across parts of Nova Scotia and for Newfoundland as well, and it will be blowing and drifting snow for the Avalon, Burin Peninsula. It does look like it will end through St. John's and the Avalon by noon today, so we'll see an improvement for you. And looking at our current systems across the country, we've got high pressure in place, but by the afternoon we will see some moisture spilling into Alberta that will bring you snow and the risk of freezing rain around Grand Prairie. And for the eastern half of the country, that low will be departing Newfoundland, and we're heading into high pressure for you tomorrow afternoon, with sunshine returning, but still cold. And speaking of the cold, that's where we're finding Mike and Mark on their excellent adventure through Western Canada. This is the fun part of the morning. We're going to show some pictures from our website, theweathernetwork.com, as well as give one of our viewers a personalized forecast. So on Twitter, we're asking for people's photos using the hashtag #ShareYourWeather, and then you get a personalized forecast after sending us your photos. So how about this? This is Rocky Harbour, Newfoundland, and Labrador. You can see the warm up as the week week goes on for Newfoundland. But by Friday, we are still going to be below the freezing mark for Rock Harbor, so you will be getting up to 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. You can send us your photos to my account on Twitter at Nicole Karkic, so would love to see them. And don't forget, use the hashtag #ShareYourWeather. Up next, we head to Milton, and this is at the Kelso Conservation Area. Temperatures are going to be up to 2 degrees in Milton by Saturday, so it might be a little bit slushy out there for you. And up next, adorable. Look at this cute little dog in Twin Brooks, Alberta, where we could see some freezing rain later today. Now, Michelle Mackey, who's speaking to hockey royalty yesterday. Thanks, Kelly. So yes, there are extreme cold warnings in place as well. That weather alert in Toronto, these are the extreme cold warnings for you. London, Stratford up towards Barrie, Peterborough's included, Uxbridge too. So it is feeling close to -30 anywhere that is indicated in purple. Now this morning, Hamilton's feeling close to -25, Windsor -21, and over towards Ottawa -24 with northwest winds sustained at only 9 kilometers an hour. So we don't have that wind chill for you at this point because the winds are very light and fairly light into the afternoon as well, but still it is going to be very cold, below average. It's our coldest day of the week. As we get into the weekend, the trajectory is temperatures really warm up, so we just have to brace ourselves, grit our teeth, and get through today. This morning in the north, we do have places like Timmins under an extreme cold warning as well. There you are, -33 with the wind chill. Elliott Lake's -33 as well, and Sudbury -33 too. So yes, very cold. By the afternoon, we're getting actually close to seasonal here. Thunder Bay is -11, pretty average for this time of year. You'll see the sunshine as well across Ontario as we head through the day. And as we move further east, there are the extreme cold warnings in place through Quebec. Val-d'Or, Saguenay is included, Sept-Îles, and up towards Labrador City and Churchill Falls. And with these extreme cold warnings, as you head a little further north, the criteria isn't -30 with the wind chill, it's -40. So a chilly one out there. This morning, you'll notice the 40 Club here, Val-d'Or in that warning, but Montreal -30 for you as you step out the door. No snow today, though, in Montreal or Quebec City. That was yesterday where you picked up about 5 centimeters. For today, Rock Harbor's getting up to -6. We're going to see some northwest winds sustained at 25 kilometers an hour, and that's the trajectory of the winds. But the more impressive thing you're going to see today weather-wise, or I don't know if you're going to be impressed by it, but it's certainly a quick, sharp cool down here. Halifax -11 compared to +4 yesterday. It's going to feel colder, and then towards Newfoundland also feeling the chill. How about those temperatures? It's -3 in St. John's with some snow, and we'll see some blowing snow for you in the afternoon for the Avalon. Thanks for joining us. Nicole and Chris with you, and we're updating you on the extreme cold.
Oh boy, are we ever. And also today's snowfall forecast. Who's going to get a little more snow?
Right, and Mike and Mark's journey continues. They're the cold whisperers. They're chasing the cold towards the east because as they leave parts of Saskatchewan, it's warming up today.
I hope you've got the corner on that hashtag.
I do.
Cold whispers.
Cold whispers. And they said they were also weather wimps because Mike was very cold in the prairies yesterday too.
Well, you know.
So a few hashtags today.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so. A quick look at this morning. -9 in Calgary, -7 in Winnipeg. So your temperatures are rising. Could be some freezing rain around the capital region. Still cold in Winnipeg. The winds out of the south, but Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal blistering cold out there, and temperatures on the east coast.
But we were talking about this earlier this morning. We'd rather that than the cold.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
The city of Toronto and Hamilton still have those extreme cold alerts out. Anywhere west of London to Kingston, over towards Peterborough and Barrie, looking at extreme cold warnings this morning.
Right, so that means temperatures around -30 with the wind chill. That's the criteria for the warning. Ottawa's -24, North Bay -26. A few areas, Chris, without the wind chills,
Yes.
and into the afternoon, we'll see that trend continuing. It's just not as windy.
Core temperatures in Thunder Bay this morning, -30, and Timmins had been as cold as -43. We're generally going to be in wind chills of -20s in northern Ontario today, and then that cold air is in place. Here's the good news in the south. The winds slacken, so that'll take some of the sting out of the wind chill this morning.
Right, exactly. It's not going to slap you in the face like it is this morning. For Wednesday, a slight improvement, but we see a bigger improvement heading into the weekend with places like Milton, Oakville, Hamilton getting up to about 2 degrees.
Timmins, Cochrane, New Liskeard still under the extreme cold warning that continues from Val-d'Or right up towards the Saguenay, the lower North Shore, and in Labrador City this morning feeling like -45.
Wow. And now stay with us. We'll talk more about the temperatures in the east, and Kelly Noseworthy will join us live on location in Toronto. Thanks so much, Kelly. And as we look at the extreme cold warnings in place, note that London's included, Stratford up to Barrie, extending towards the Kawartha Lakes, Peterborough's included, Vaughan as well. Toronto's not included, but you are in an extreme cold weather alert, so it's just below that warning criteria, which is minus 30 with the wind chill. But hey, we're close enough at minus 25 in Toronto, minus 25 in Hamilton. Windsor, no snow for you today as you start off the morning commute, but it's minus 14, and then there's that wind chill value for you. And into the afternoon, if you're going to be in Ottawa, it's minus 15. Notice though we don't have these wind chill values listed on this map for the afternoon. That's because the winds won't be as strong, but still it is below average, and it is our coldest day of the week in the province of Ontario today. We do see a gradual warm up as we head into the weekend. Looking towards the north, we've got Timmins and Kapuskasing and Chapleau in an extreme cold warning as well. So feeling close to the minus 30s for you as you kick off the morning. And for the afternoon, here's our temperatures, which actually is a little bit closer to seasonal for Thunder Bay at minus 11, but it feels close to minus 18. Moving towards the east, we've got Quebec in extreme cold warnings too. Val d'Or, Saguenay up towards Sept-Îles, Labrador City, Churchill Falls. The criteria for wind chills as we head a little further north in these areas is about minus 40 to even minus 50 in some cases, so it's a lot colder. This morning, Montreal not in the warning, but it's minus 23, feeling close to minus 30. You picked up 5 centimeters of snow yesterday, so much cleaner drive with the sunshine out in Quebec as well as Ontario, but it's all about the bitter cold. In St. John's, Newfoundland, we've picked up 9.6 centimeters across Newfoundland in St. John's and the Avalon, sustained at 40 kilometers an hour, so gusts could be a lot stronger than that. And also, these blues are changing to purples across the Maritimes and Newfoundland, so that's just indicative of the cool down coming, and the general flow of those winds too. Those raw northerly winds for you will be feeling a lot colder than these temperatures suggest. Buchan's minus 10, St. John's is minus 3 with the snow, and for you in Halifax this morning it's minus 7, but by the afternoon sitting around minus 11, so your high is in the morning. Thanks for joining us. Chris and Nicole with you here. Some top stories we're looking at.
Well, it's certainly feeling like January, and we'll give you an update on the extreme cold because there's some watches and warnings.
That's right. And today's snowfall forecast, we've already seen close to 10 centimeters in St. John's. There's more to go.
There is. Mike and Mark's excellent adventures continue across the country. We'll get an update from them as well.
That's right. And looking at the wind chills here, we do have extreme cold warnings in place for parts of northern Quebec, Val d'Or, Sept-Îles, Labrador City as well at this point. So keep this in mind, these ranges.
And many parts of southern and eastern Ontario. So once it starts getting around minus 30 or colder, the wind chill, the risk of frostbite goes up exponentially as well.
That's right. So as we head to Kelly knows right now, she's in the city of Toronto, where it feels close to the minus 30s, Kelly. So you're doing the right thing. You're all bundled up.
We got lots more coming up.
Thanks so much, Kelly. So are you running outside in minus 30, Chris?
Not on that sidewalk. I don't want to slip on that patch of ice there.
That's
All
right.
right, so today, frigid is a good word. By the way, the snow's tapering off in the Maritimes. You're going to have some sunshine today, but bundle up for the wind chills, and still another 5 centimeters or so for portions of the Avalon Peninsula.
That's right. And for the Prairie Provinces, high pressure in place. It's cold for you, but a warm up in Saskatchewan, just still in the deep freeze in Manitoba. Taking you next to Quebec.
Devils off the open bodies of water. So extreme cold warnings still in effect from Timmins, Cochrane, east, all the way out towards Labrador City, Churchill Falls, and along the lower North Shore.
Montreal not in the warning, but it's feeling close to minus 30, so close enough. And by the afternoon, we'll be looking at temperatures at minus 17 in the city of Montreal.
All right, coming up, and we've got an update from Mike and Mark in Manitoba.
Thanks so much, Kelly. And extreme cold warnings are blanketing Ontario to start off the day. Stratford, London, up towards Cottage Country, including Barrie, the Kawartha Lakes, Peterborough, Uxbridge, towards Vaughan is included. Toronto is not included, but as Kelly mentioned, you are under an extreme cold weather alert, so it's just below that warning criteria of minus 30 with the wind chill. But for Toronto, it's at least minus 25 out there with the wind chill. At times, it could feel closer to minus 30 as the winds pick up. But speaking of the winds, we do have Ottawa at minus 23. Not really seeing a wind chill because it's fairly light winds, sustained at about 10 kilometers an hour. And that's the same trend into the afternoon. It won't be windy, but it will be cold. And we're going to see the sunshine too. So we've got a little bit of the good with the bad. Now this morning towards the north, Thunder Bay is at minus 36 with the wind chill. Timmins and Kapuskasing are also in extreme cold weather warning for you to start the day. But by the afternoon, really getting into these seasonal temperatures. Look at Marathon, minus -6. Thunder Bay, -11 actually is your seasonal average. And as we look again to the extreme cold warning here, and note it does extend into the Peterborough region. And this morning, moving towards the east, Montreal, -22. Not in a warning, but we do have places like Val-d'Or, the Saguenay, and even Labrador City in an extreme cold warning for you as you step out the door. Personalized forecast in the Share Your Weather segment, which you can also get if you get on Twitter and use the hashtag Share Your Weather and send me some photos to my account. Now, this morning, we do have the arrows indicating where the wind is coming from, so a northerly flow is going to be blowing a lot of snow around in St. John's, where you've already picked up 10 centimeters of snow so far. But another part of the story is those purples. What do purples mean? They mean cold temperatures. So Halifax yesterday was +4 for this afternoon. You're going to be -11. St. John's -5 with some blowing snow, winds out of the north, sustained at about 40 kilometers an hour. Buckens will be -11 into the afternoon. And for Halifax, about -10, -11. Look at Moncton, -13. Lots of sunshine in through New Brunswick. But we're going to see some blowing snow in places like Charlottetown, Cape Breton Island, and this is the additional snowfall we have in through the Bonavista Peninsula, under 5 centimeters. Thanks for joining us. Nicole and Chris with you here. We've got an update on the extreme cold, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, we promise.
All right, today's snowfall forecast, well, still a few more centimeters to go in the Avalon, but it is moving out to be replaced by very cold air.
That's right, and Mike and Mark's journey continues, as we're calling it, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
That's it. All right, well, let's get you up to speed first. Today, the word frigid, I think, stands out in this map, dominating much of eastern Canada, while seasonal values returning to the west.
That's right. And where have Mike and Mark been?
Yes.
Calgary, over to Saskatoon. Today, they find themselves in Brandon, Manitoba, where temperatures are sitting at about -25.
Oh, boy, yes.
Yeah, and we were trying to decide who's Bill, who's Ted out there. So Mike and Mark joining us right now. Guys, have you decided which one's Bill, which one's Ted?
Well, I'm Keanu Reeves for sure. I think both Mark and I have decided on that one. Actually, he was sleeping.
Oh, we decided?
We decided. Well,
We decided,
he was still sleeping when I made the decision for him.
They're good. And you know
Covert
what?
cold.
They're going to
There
be
you
mad at me because I was complaining that it was too hot in here earlier.
Oh, no. -35, by the way, is the record low in Brandon for this day back in 57. Wow. So you're not in record territory this morning, though, feeling close to -30. Now, let's talk about what's going to happen, because we do have a low-pressure system and a warm front lifting north. Now, that's going to bring 5 to 10 centimeters for northern Alberta, northern Saskatchewan. But further south, Nicole, could be some freezing rain.
Yeah, the anywhere indicated in pink could get that freezing rain. There is a warning included for Grand Prairie. Thanks, Kelly. So that's right. We have extreme cold warnings in place, not including Toronto, but the alert is in effect there. The criteria for extreme cold is -30 with the wind chill. So London up towards Peterborough, Barrie as well. Ottawa not included, but it's still quite a cold morning for you. -23. We just have some very light winds, so we're not getting those wind chill values. It's out of the south. The winds for Ottawa sustained at 5 kilometers an hour. Look at Hamilton, -27 with the wind chill. Toronto's -25. But by the afternoon, -10 in Toronto, but our seasonal average for this time of year is closer to -2, so not near that. As we head to the weekend, though, things are going to improve substantially, and we'll be looking at temperatures in the +2 degree range for the Greater Toronto area. Extreme cold warning still in place. Val-d'Or, Saguenay, Sept-Îles for the morning. Labrador City feeling close to the -40s in some cases, and then for the morning in Montreal, -22 for you, but a lot of sunshine through the day in through southern Quebec. Take a look at your temperatures here. Gatineau, -15, Montreal -17 for you. Moving towards the Prairie provinces, we've seen Mark and Mike on their cross-country journey from Calgary to Saskatoon yesterday. They're really following the cold to Brandon, Manitoba for today. And you know what, Mike and Mark, I'm not going to tell you or I don't want to tell you that I was complaining about how hot it was earlier today in the studio.
Nicole, I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. As we're dealing with wind chill values in the -30s, you're complaining about the heat in the studio, Mark. It just doesn't seem fair with us.
Oh, perfect, because there is a big warm-up coming for them. As we look at this morning, we've got Swift Current -21, Lethbridge -17, but by the afternoon, places like Lethbridge, Calgary, you're going to be well above average as you get some mild air pushing into the province. Also, mild air will swing into Saskatchewan for today. There is quite a difference between both provinces. -13 -14 in Saskatoon, -21 in Winnipeg, feeling close to -32. But look at Brandon as the next few days approach. We're going to be -3 on Wednesday with some snow. Now for Brandon itself, this is going to be a light dusting if everything. There's a little bit more snow if you head to the Interlake region of Manitoba and towards the north. And then looking across the next few days, temperatures that are a lot easier to digest, easier to be outside in. And the cold story is this in the east. We do have all the purples starting to come in towards Nova Scotia for today. PEI, we've got some strong winds for the Avalon, which will be blowing all that snow around. And for St. John's itself, you've picked up at least 11 centimeters of snow so far, with a few more centimeters to go. And for the afternoon, -5 with that blowing and drifting snow. Charlottetown, -11 for you. Thanks, Kelly. So as we look to Ontario and the east, frigid today. Yesterday, you were mild in the Maritimes. Today, it's a different story. And speaking of the cold temperatures, we look this afternoon to Manitoba, where temperatures are in the -20s for Winnipeg, Kenora, towards the northwest of Ontario, -24. A bit better in Saskatchewan, which is where Mike and Mark were yesterday, but they've left behind the milder air and traded it in for the cold. Guys, you're even more bundled up since the last time I talked to you, and I don't know how that's possible, but you did it.
To you.
All right, that seems like a fair deal, Mike. So looking at moving towards Ontario here, extreme cold as well for you from London to Barrie over towards Peterborough, feeling like the -30s this morning. It'll be the coldest day of the week, though. We just have to get through Tuesday. And this afternoon in Ottawa is -15 with some light winds out of the south, sustained at 5 kilometers an hour, and generally some light winds here. Pembroke over towards Kingston. That's why you're not getting the extreme wind chills that we have seen in recent weeks. Now for the east, we do have some snow still moving in through Newfoundland, as well as the big dive down in your temperatures. So notice the northerly winds as well as the purples invading the area. But what are purples? Well, it's colder air. Halifax at -10 this afternoon. For St. John's, you'll be -5, but all that snow will be blowing all around with winds sustained at 40 kilometers an hour.
Thanks.
So we're getting a warm up today in Calgary, +1 your daytime high, but over towards Winnipeg, -13 and -5 in St. John's with blowing snow. So if you want a nice getaway, how about these temperatures for you? Freeport getting up to 28 degrees for the afternoon, a mix of sun and cloud. NASA will see some thunderstorms, but a hot 28 degrees into Wednesday afternoon. And how about Miami? Great place to visit, great beaches, great restaurants as well. It's getting up to 27 degrees for the afternoon, but also seeing a few thunderstorms. All right, this was Mike Arsenault and Mark Robinson in Brandon, Manitoba, just earlier this morning. We'll talk to them in a moment, but they were trying to warm up, Cheryl, and that was their inventive idea. Looking pretty good, but it is cold.
It is very cold. We'll give them an A for effort on that one for sure. And also, they're just simply having too much fun in the cold. It's pretty clear. But we have lots of cold still in place across the east of the country, but we're starting to warm the temperatures up. So in Brandon, we will see some better values by the end of the week.
Absolutely. So this will change as we head into the weekend, even with some milder air making its way into Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. But for today, yes, we've written here frigid. High pressure is in place, though, so lots of sunshine. If you look outside your window in places like Toronto or Quebec City, it's going to look okay. But when you get out there, it's a different story, Cheryl.
Yeah, and across the prairies, there is a concern for freezing rain in the far north of Alberta and BC because of the colder air that's trapped in some of the valleys and then the warmer air lofts, so there's an inversion that's going on in some cases.
That's right.
But when we look at the temperatures, the wind chills this afternoon, we've still got some concerns for that in Manitoba, no question.
Right, and let's head outside right now to Mike and Mark, who are in Brandon, Manitoba, and a little bit of the sun is coming out there, guys, so is it even a little bit warmer?
But to me today, there's no wind. It's okay. I know when we're going to start this.
They make them tough out here on the prairies. That's all I have to say right now. Thank you, John.
No problem. It's a pleasure.
Oh, he's putting Mark to shame. No gloves even, Cheryl.
No, they're tough people, no question. Well, you know what? The cold is still with us, no question. And then to the north, we are definitely looking at some snowfall. But here's the thing. It's for areas where there's less population. There are some populations, but it's well up to the north.
That's right. And Interlake region seeing about 2 to 5 centimeters, not even getting down to Saskatoon or Calgary. Edmonton, however, into the afternoon, you could be seeing some freezing rain around Fort St. John, and as well, Grand Prairie is in a warning for that.
We have the warming trend that's on the way for the west, and it's still cool right now across the east. We'll have more details on that coming up.